You're live.
All right. Let's see. Hello, hello, everybody. Anybody joining in yet? All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And as people join in, we'll say hello and do all the things. Thank you so much for joining this morning. Happy Saturday. I hope you guys are all having a great day, great week so far. Today, we are doing my self-love masterclass that I am so super excited for. This is one of my favorite topics to teach on and to talk about because it is so close to my heart. So today we are going to be talking about the 6 non-negotiables of self-love. We're going to be talking about how you can build your self-love, why it's so hard, and what it really means to have that practice of self-love in your life. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. I want to say hi to everybody over on TikTok too. What's up? This masterclass, if you're on TikTok, this is a masterclass that's on Zoom right now. We are doing monthly masterclasses through an organization called the House of Peach, which is a nonprofit organization in Delaware. So we do these on the second Saturday of every month at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and you can register for these so that you get a email every month, and you can join us. We have a wide range of topics that I'm going to be talking about every month this year. So make sure that you register and join us every second Saturday. So first and foremost, who am I? My name is Heather. I am an emotional healing and relationship coach. I am also a mom and a dog mom. I'm actually traveling right now. I am in Boston. I'm from Delaware. But we are in Boston this weekend for a volleyball tournament for my daughter. She does travel ball. So that's what's going on here with the background. Um, but yeah, so I'm a mom, a dog mom. I'm also a restaurant manager, and I'm a Delaware native, born and raised right there in Delaware. So, why am I the one talking to you about self love today? Well, I was the struggle queen when it came to self love for a very, very, very long time in my life. Um, a little bit about my past for those of you who do not know me. I was in an abusive relationship for about 10 years, married for 8 of those. And throughout that experience, it really destroyed who I was. And anybody who has been in a toxic relationship or an abusive relationship knows exactly what I'm talking about. When you are in a situation like that, the abuser tears you down. They strip you of your individuality. They strip you of everything that makes you who you are. They are controlling. They make you doubt yourself. And to love yourself in a situation like that is extremely, extremely difficult. Even if you had really great self love prior to that, it's very common for these abusers to again strip that away from you, and that's what happened in my experience. um, I When I left that relationship, I hated the person that I was. I didn't trust myself. I really didn't think that there was any reason to be here and to go on. And I stayed stuck in that space for a very, very long time. And it wasn't until I really started diving into this world of personal development, of self love, of self worth, till I actually realized how little self love I had and how much I actually did hate myself. I would say things to myself on a regular basis, like, I hate myself. Who do I think I am? All these kinds of really negative things. And it was such just a part of who I was and a part of how I showed up every day and a part of how I talked to myself that I didn't even realize the damage that it was doing in my life and the damage that it was doing to who I was. So through this work, a lot of the work that I'm going to share with you today I was able to rebuild that and rebuild this foundation of who I am. I was able to accept myself on a whole new level. So I have a lot of experience with rebuilding self-love, with rebuilding self-worth. And that is why I'm talking to you about this today. So, sugar, my computer. Okay. All right. So you are in the right place if you have been feeling disconnected from yourself lately. If you feel as though you're never doing enough, right? If you are one that constantly is putting everybody else's needs ahead of your own, this class is for you. If you have no idea what self-love is or even looks like on a regular basis, this is the class for you. I've been having technical difficulties, so if I pause, it's because my computer is not liking me today. All right. Come on. So we're going to do this. We're going to keep it moving. I'm going to switch to a different app so I can see my next slide. All right. If you struggle, you are in the right place. If you struggle to believe that you are even worthy, okay, you are in the right place. If you don't know what your intuition is or how to trust your intuition, we're going to talk a little bit about that today as well. You are in the right place if you feel like something's missing in your life, but you're really just not sure what it is. And you're also in the right place if you feel as though the thought of loving yourself is super fucking scary. Because I get it. I've been there, and it's terrifying to think of loving yourself on a deeper level. Okay, so screen's back working. All right, so what will you get out of this? You are going to gain a renewed sense of self, right? We're going to reignite the curiosity that you have for who you are and the experiences that you've had. We're going to learn what self-love looks like in reality, right? Because there's a lot of things out there on social media that talk about, do this for self-love, do that for self-love. But for those of us that actually truly struggle with self-love and loving who we are and really have like that deep-seated doubt in ourselves and even maybe a deep-seated hate, it can be really difficult to just be like, okay, like, let me just do that, right? Like, it's not something that you can just snap your fingers and start doing the next day. It takes a lot of work and it's really, really difficult. So we're going to talk about what self-love looks like in reality. And we're also going to create a self-love ritual by the end of this class that's going to fill you up with exactly what you need so that you are refilling your own love tank every single day. And you are also going to gain a much deeper connection with yourself out of this class. All right, so first and foremost, let's go through the basics here. All right, what is self-love, right? Because again, we see all kinds of things on social media these days where it's throwing out all these terms and saying, do this for self-love, do that for self-love. But what is it really? Self-love is a deep, unconditional acceptance and understanding of yourself, okay? And it is not just self-care. Okay, that's the thing that I see people confuse the most. They're like, oh, yeah, I practiced self-love today. I got a nice bubble bath. Well, that's great. And self-love, or excuse me, self-care is a huge part of loving yourself, right? Taking care of yourself, showing yourself that, you care about your health and care about your well-being. Like that is very, very important, but that's not entirely what self-love is. So that's what I really want to dig into today is that other side of self-love, because we can all practice self-care, right? It's super easy to be like, yeah, I'm going to go have a bubble bath today, or I'm going to go relax and have a glass of wine and watch Netflix and just like let myself be. I'm going to go take a nap. I'm going to go to the spa. I'm going to go get my hair done, right? Like those things are super easy for us to do. And again, it's great to do those things and to incorporate those things into your self-love ritual. But self-love is much deeper than that. So that's what I really want to get across to everybody today is that really deep sense of self-love. Okay, so why does this even matter? right? Why am I so passionate about this? Why do you guys even need to be listening to this? Why should you be spending your time today learning about self-love? Well, first and foremost, the relationship that you have with yourself is the most significant relationship in your life, right? Because you got to think about it. You spend all of your time with yourself, right? You spend all of your time in your mind talking to yourself. You spend time with yourself. Maybe you're alone, maybe you're with other people, but it's super important to be able to love your own company, right? And to have that really deep acceptance of who you are. And you know, the thing for me is like when I really started practicing this and really dove into this relationship with myself, it was so much easier for me to be like, oh, like I have this deep self-love for myself. I don't like if you don't see that, if you don't see how fucking amazing I am, that's your loss, bud. Like it's so much easier to allow things into your life that are actually meant for you when you have this really deep self-love, right? Because you're able to prioritize that relationship with yourself over all other relationships, right? And I'm not saying by any means that your other relationships are not important. Okay, because we're human, we need that human connection, right? So, our romantic relationships, our friendships, the relationships with our family, those are all super important and they fill us up in different ways. But the relationship that you have with yourself is something special, it's something different. And by having that really deep, deep self love, you are it's going to open up a whole new world for you because you're going to have a whole new perspective on life and a whole new perspective on the things that are meant for you and the things that you can really bring into your life. So that's a really big piece about why this matters. So let's talk a little bit about why it's so hard, right? Because it is so fucking hard for us to love ourselves, right? I get it. And, the thing is that most of us, especially, when we're in our 20s and our 30s, and we're just now being like at this place where we're like, oh shit, like, do I love myself? Right? Like, you have years of conditioning that have brought you to this place. Okay. You have years of maybe people telling you that you're not good enough, people telling you that you're not worthy. Maybe they're telling you that you're not pretty enough or smart enough or whatever it is. Those beliefs have been ingrained in your story. Okay. And they have created this vision of who you believe that you are. And it has created this vision of what you believe you're worthy of. It has created this vision of, whether you see yourself as somebody who should be loved, whether it's by yourself or other people. But all of those stories that we have experienced in our life have really defined who we are. So if we are allowing all of these stories to get into our brains, right? People telling us that we're not smart enough, that we're not good enough, that we're not pretty enough, that, we don't have good enough skin or hair, whatever, that can really fuck with us, right? It gets in our heads. And then we're like, oh shit, like, well, I'm not very smart, so I'm not lovable, right? I don't know how to do X, Y, and Z, so I'm not lovable, right? And we take that not only as not being lovable by other people, but subconsciously, we are creating a story that we can't even love ourselves, right? We don't like the person we are because we've heard of all these other stories of what other people have said, these judgments that people have for us. The negative things that people have said, they become ingrained in us and we allow them to, again, define who we are. And we create this whole big thing, this whole big story about who we think we are. And if we deem that we're not lovable, then we don't love ourselves. Okay. So that's why it's so hard because we have years and years and years of all this conditioning that has taught us that we're not good enough, which, by the way, it's all fucking bullshit. Okay. It's all bullshit. I'm just going to say it. Every single person who is listening to this right now, who may listen to this in the future, every single one of you is worthy of love. Every single one of you is worthy of love from yourself and from other people. And you are all good enough. You're all worthy enough. The thing is, we're all different. And that's something that should be celebrated, not something that we should be judging each other for. Okay. What makes us unique is what makes us special. So let's embrace those things. Let's celebrate those pieces of ourselves and really find that deep love for who we are and that deep love for our unique personality and the unique things that we bring to the table. Right. Rather than looking at those things as negatives and something that makes us different, something that makes us not worthy of love, what if we flipped that script and really viewed those things as something that makes us special, those things that make us who we are, those things that make us more lovable? Okay. That's what I want for you guys to get out of this. So, why else is this so hard? Well, first of all, loving ourselves is scary, right? Because there's so many people out there that are like, oh, you're just cocky, right? You're self-centered. You only care about yourself, right? When we love ourselves out loud, that's the response. Like I've gotten that so much in my life. Like you are so full of yourself. Who do you think you are? Excuse me. I'm confident and I love myself, and that's who I think I am, right? I don't think I'm better than anybody else. I don't think that I'm more worthy than anybody else. I just love the hell out of who I am, right? And I embrace that. And I just am myself every single day. And if you don't like it, then you're not meant to be in my life. And that's how I look at that. But it can be so, so scary for those of us that have been in a place where we have hated ourselves for so long, or we've been told that, you can't love yourself or you shouldn't love yourself. It's scary to step out of that, right? It's scary to get out of our comfort zones. That's why so many of us get stuck in life because we're scared to get out of our comfort zones. We're scared to try new things. Well, that kind of stuff applies to self love as well. If you are scared to love yourself out loud, you're never going to do it. And that's really, unfortunately, what it comes down to. You just never will get yourself out of that place where you are putting yourself in this box of what you think everybody wants you to be. Because when you stay stuck in that box, you're making everybody else happy while also making yourself miserable. Right. And we want to get out of that. We want to be loving ourselves out loud. We want to romanticize the fuck out of our lives and we want to enjoy our lives. Right. Why else are we here if not to enjoy life and to do things that light us up? Right. Like I'm fucking sitting here right now. I have computer. I got um I have two tripods in front of me right now. Like I'm doing the damn thing. And I don't care if somebody walks down this hallway right now and sees me, they're gonna learn about self-love too. Okay, I'm talking loud. I'm sure my voice is carrying right down here, down this little corridor thing that's ahead of me. But I don't care because I love the person that I am. What I'm doing right now is lighting me up. I don't know if you guys can tell or not by my excitement, but like I love fucking doing this kind of stuff. And if I never found that love for myself and that confidence to get out of my comfort zone, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't, right? So the love that we have ourselves can take us so far in life, but we have to be willing to do it. We have to be willing to do it even when it's really fucking scary. Another reason this is so hard is because it takes time. Like I said, you're not going to be able to snap your fingers and just be, completely full of self love tomorrow, right? It's going to take time. It took me probably at least a couple years before I really fully embraced that version of myself. Now, I'm not going to like, there were definitely times over that period where I had gotten to a place where like I would have certain days and I'd be like, man, I really love the hell out of myself. But then there are going to be days where it's really fucking hard. And that's why it takes time, right? It's a journey. Okay. It's not just a destination. Self love is a journey and it's something that you're constantly learning and that's constantly changing in your life, depending on what you have going on, depending on new awareness levels that you bring into your life, right? Like there are so many different layers to this and so many different aspects of this. So it takes time, right? And some people don't have the patience for that. Or some people get frustrated and are like, oh, why haven't I healed? Why haven't I gotten there yet? I've been doing this stuff every day for a week. Well, baby girl, it's because it takes longer than a week. All right. It's going to take time. So be patient with yourself, be willing to put in the work. And I promise you it will be worth it. You just have to be consistent and be willing to go the long haul with it. Another reason why this is so hard, I know we have some guys listening. But really from a woman's perspective, I think a lot of women really struggle with this is because we're taught to put everybody else ahead of ourselves, right? Like I grew up in a house with a mother who did everything for everybody else all of the time. Okay, she always put herself last. She always put herself on the back burner. And I saw that as my example of what I was supposed to be doing as a wife or as a mother in my life. So when I was married to my ex abusive husband, I had that mindset. So I put myself on the back burner. So it was really a lot easier for him to kind of manipulate me and to strip me away of my confidence because I was so willing to do everything for him because I thought that that's what I had to do in order to be loved. Um, so many women grow up, and it's a generational trauma as well, right? It's our great grandmoms, our grandmothers, our mothers, right? They all grew up in this time where women were expected to do everything for everybody else, right? Do everything for the man. They were expected to cook, clean, take care of the kids, take care of their man, and all these different things. And they were always taught to put themselves on the back burner. So that generational trauma has been ingrained into our genes to make us believe that we shouldn't be taking care of ourselves, that we should be doing everything for everybody else. Okay. So it's not just you. I promise it's not just you. A lot of women have experienced this because of that deep-seated generational trauma. So please don't be hard on yourself. Okay. You're not alone. I promise you are definitely not alone. Okay. So before we go any further into this, I want everybody to get a little bit curious here because curiosity in yourself is what's going to build your self-awareness. And we all know that self-awareness is the direct route to healing, right? Because you have to be aware of what's going on. You have to be aware of what you need to heal. You have to be aware of where you're struggling, what parts of yourselves you don't fully accept so that you know where to start, right? Because if you're just kind of going in this blind, it's going to be a lot more difficult and it's going to take even longer for you to get to this place of loving yourself fully. So I want everybody to try this exercise. I'm going to give you a minute to kind of think about it now. But I want you guys to really do this in your free time. When I first did this exercise, it was something that I came back to over several days. I started and then, like the next day I just went back to the list, reread everything that I did, and this will make sense in a second. And I just added to it. So this isn't something that can be done in 5 minutes. This is something that I want you guys to really take time to do because it does make a difference. And when I first did this exercise, this was like a huge game changer in me taking the next step in my journey. So here it is. I want you to write down everything about who you are. Okay. Everything that is true about you, no matter how big or small it is. Okay. Facts, personality traits, experiences, flaws, all of it. Okay. Everything that you can think of. So for me, my list began with, mom, dog mom, manager, life coach. There were things in there about being abused, things about not loving myself. I talked about, loving the beach, loving tattoos, everything that is true about you, whether it's directly related to your self-love or not. What this is going to do is it's going to give you a full picture of how you view yourself. Okay. So again, whether you think of things that are quote unquote good or bad, okay, we're not going to think about that. We just want to write down everything that is true about who you are, experiences that you've had. So again, some more things for me: teenage mom, single mom, just everything that matters to you, everything that you view about yourself, things that maybe you struggle with, right? I want you to write as much as you can. My list ended up being like 3 pages long when I typed it in my computer, of just all different things that I could think of about who I was, right? I've struggled with body image. So that was something that I put on there. I have struggled in relationships with my family. So that was something that I put on there. Again, whatever is true for you, I want you to put that on there. This is going to give you that full picture of how you truly view yourselves, whether it is positive or negative. I want you to put it on this list. Okay. And then what we're going to do after that is create affirmations around accepting the things that maybe you don't accept about yourself. Okay. So I put something on there about not being consistent in working out, right? And viewing myself as lazy. So one of my affirmations is that I am not lazy and I am extremely physically active. Okay. And that's where, and we're going to get into this more in a minute, but that's where the rewiring begins. Okay, because when we're talking about self-love and rebuilding who we are and rewriting our stories, it really comes down to rewiring the beliefs that we have about ourselves. Because those beliefs are what shape who we are, how we view ourselves, whether we love ourselves or not, all those things. So that's why this exercise is so incredibly powerful, because it's forcing you to look at all aspects of yourself. So I hope that while I was talking there, you guys maybe jotted down a few things or had a few things come to mind, but I really highly encourage every single person to grab your journal or get on your computer or start typing a note on your phone, whatever it is that works for you, and just write everything that is true for you, everything that you know about yourself. Again, good, bad, positive, negative, whatever, everything, write it all down. Okay. Okay, I kind of already talked about this, why this is important. This exercise forces you to open up and look at yourself, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It gives you a way to evaluate how you talk to yourself and how you view yourself. And again, the more curiosity that you have about yourself and the more curious you stay about yourself, the better that you are going to know and understand yourself, which is going to lead to full acceptance. And that full acceptance in who we are is where self-love starts to bloom. Okay, so you see how it's all connected, all connected. Okay, so a couple of last minute things to remember before we start diving into the 6 non-negotiables. First things first, self-love is limitless. Okay, there is not like a cap on this or anything. It is completely limitless. As I mentioned before, it takes time. Okay, this isn't something that's going to happen overnight. It's going to take time to grow, just like in a relationship where, love takes time. You have to get to know each other. You have to accept different parts of each other, experience new things together to grow that love. The same thing is true for self-love. Okay. Small daily actions are key. Again, we're going to talk about self-love rituals throughout the towards the end of the presentation, but please remember that like those small daily things are what's going to build up to really having that really deep self-love that you're looking for. And the more you love yourself, the higher your vibration. Okay. So the higher that you're vibrating in your life, the more positive things you're going to attract into your life. Right. I don't want to dive too much into this. But if you are constantly vibrating at that low vibration where you're like, oh, I hate who I am, I'm not worthy, nobody will ever want to be with me, those kinds of negative things that you tell yourself, you're going to attract more negative things in your life. But when you are positive and you say things like, I love myself, right? And I am worthy of the most incredible love out there that there is. I am an amazing person. I bring so much to the table. You're going to start attracting people into your life that also see those things in you. Okay. So remember, the more that you love yourself, the higher your vibration is going to be. Okay, so what are the 6 non-negotiables of self-love? These are the 6 things that you need to help you connect with and love yourself without limits. First and foremost, which we have kind of talked about a little bit here, but we have to quit the negative self-talk. Okay, negative self-talk is the #1 way that you are going to keep your vibration low and that you are going to keep yourself from loving yourself, because that negative self-talk is always going to tell you what you don't have, right? What makes you not good enough, what makes you not worthy enough, what makes you not pretty enough, all those kinds of things, right? And it's going to keep you stuck in a place where you find it extremely difficult to love the person that you are. And we want to get out of that. Okay. The thing is, like, words are so incredibly powerful. Okay. They create your reality. So if you are constantly saying negative things about yourself, like, oh, I'm fat. Nobody wants to be with me because I don't have a good body. I don't know how to talk to people. So nobody was going to want to be with me. I don't even love myself. I can't achieve that thing. I have these big goals in my life, but I can't get up in front of people and talk. Or, I don't know enough about that subject. Like, who do I think I am to talk about that thing, right? Whatever it is for you, that negative self talk is going to keep you stuck. It's going to keep you low, and it's going to keep you in a place where self hate is going to be a lot easier than self love to fuel. Okay. And remember, the way that you talk to yourself is a direct reflection of how you feel about yourself. So if you're constantly like, oh my gosh, I suck. Why did I do that? I'm so stupid, right? Like, you are just reinforcing these negative beliefs in yourself when you are saying those things over and over and over again. So that's what we really need to get out of. So I want you to think about, how do you talk to yourself on a regular basis? Are you saying things to yourself like, oh my gosh, I'm such a failure. I'm so stupid. I can't do this. I suck at everything. I'm so ugly. Why does my body look like that? Right. And I want you to ask yourself, is this how you would talk to your best friend? Probably not. Right. You're not going to tell your best friend, girl, you're so fat. What is wrong with you? You look horrible today. You suck. Like, you are such a failure. Why did you even try to do that thing knowing that you weren't going to be able to do it? Right? You would never say those things to your best friend. More likely, you're going to be like, girl, you got this. You're going to do this. You're amazing. Right? People that don't see that are crazy. Like, I love you. You're perfect just the way you are. We have to start bringing that kind of energy into our life in the way that we talk to ourselves. Right? It is so much easier for us to say all these negative things. I get it, right? Because we're saying them in our head. We're like, oh, it's not so bad. I'm not saying them out loud. But no, that record that you have on repeat in your mind is a reflection of how you view yourself. So, like I said, if you are constantly viewing yourself as somebody who's not good enough, who can't do the damn thing, who isn't pretty, whatever, that's what you're going to believe. All right. So we need to start talking to ourselves like we're talking to our best friends. We got to hype ourselves up, right? We got to be our own hype girls. We got to like be our own cheer squad here and like really tell ourselves how fucking incredible we are, because we are absolutely fucking incredible. And that's what I want everybody to understand. It's like thought. Okay. Okay. Last part of negative self talk. Where does this habit even come from? Well, it's coming from limiting beliefs. It's coming from fears. It's coming from insecurities. It's coming from opinions of other people, right? Remember that art teacher that told you when you were in elementary school that that was a horrible picture, and what were you thinking? Yeah, that stuck with you, and that's why you don't do art anymore. Okay, it's like little things like that that we don't necessarily really remember consciously, but our unconscious self believes that and it remembers that. And it stays in this place where it takes those opinions of other people, those judgments of other people, and it turns them into our insecurities. It turns them into our fears. It turns them into our limiting beliefs, and it turns them into how we talk to ourselves. Okay. So the more that you internalize all these negative things that people say to you, the harder it's going to be for you to love yourself. Okay. Here's a here's a perfect example. And this actually happened to me on Monday. I had somebody tell me that I'm not physically fit enough for him. Now, if this if that was something that was said to me 6, 7 years ago when I was still really new in my healing journey, and was really gaining this new experience of like self-love and all that, that would have destroyed me. It would have absolutely destroyed me. It would have put me in my bed for days crying, like all the things. Instead, when this man said to me that I'm not physically fit enough for him, my first thought was, dude, do you know how many guys I have that want to be with me and love my body and think that I'm great? And also, I love my fucking body and I don't really care what you think. All right. That to me, you saying that to me is just proof in the pudding that you're not meant for me. And that's okay. Okay. So there's two very different women there by hearing that. Again, if this was me 6, 7 years ago, I would have internalized the hell out of that. I would have felt so bad about myself. I would have been spiraling about how I'm fat and how nobody's ever going to love me and all those things. And I'm not shaming that. Okay, because we've all been there. We've all been in that place where like that negative self-talk is just so much easier than trying to hype ourselves up. But when you have gotten as far in your self-love journey as I have, it's so much easier for you to shut those negative thoughts down. Okay. Rather than turning these opinions of other people, these judgments of other people into something negative, you're able to shift it into something and be like, you just showed me that you're not meant to be in my life. And that's so incredibly freaking powerful. Okay. So, how do we heal? How do we heal this part of ourselves, this negative self talk? First and foremost, through one on one coaching. That's what I do. I help you guys really unpack all of this and really understand your own personal struggles and what you have been through specifically. I help you rewiring those things. But if that's not in the cards for you right now, totally understand. The other thing you can do is really take a deep look at your past and how this has played a role in your life. So maybe you have big trauma, or excuse me, past trauma in your life, right? There are two different kinds of trauma. There's big T trauma and little T trauma. Big T trauma is things like maybe you were sexually assaulted, or you were maybe abused as a child. Really heavy things. Maybe you experienced death, like seeing someone die right in front of you, a loved one, or maybe you were in the military and had to experience some really horrific things. Okay, those are all classified as like big T trauma. Little T trauma are things that still have an impact in our life, but they're smaller moments. So that art teacher that told you, like, what are you doing? That's horrible, right? That was something small that happened in your life when you were a child, but it still had a big impact in your life. It was still a traumatic experience. You still took that experience to heart and made it mean something about you. Okay, so that's what I mean by little T trauma, or maybe somebody making fun of you when you were a kid, or maybe somebody rejecting you as an adult, right? And it starts to build this fear of rejection within you. It's very important for you to take a look at these things in your life, these past experiences, and really start to gain this deep understanding of how they are affecting you. Okay. The next thing that you need to do is rewrite your story, right? Take all those past things and rewrite it. Rewire your brain. That's what you need to do. Rewire how you view these things. Change the words that you are using when it comes to these things, right? When you are able to dive into your past and be like, okay, I know that sexual assault really affected me, and it affected how I view myself, and it affected how I love myself and how I feel like other people view me. Then you know exactly where you need to start. So when you're rewriting your story, you take that experience, and rather than rather than using it to define who you are in a negative way, look at the positives. Like, how did you grow from that? Right? What different perspectives do you have? Right? How strong did it make you to work through that? Okay. Rewrite the story. Okay. Don't allow it to define who you are in a negative way. We need to flip the script on that and really shift it into something positive, which I know is so fucking hard. But again, this is something I really dive deep into in my one-on-one coaching, is how to do this, and I help you through that. And then the fourth thing you can do here is build your confidence. Okay, the more confidence that you have in yourself and your abilities and in who you are and in all the things that are going on in your life, the easier it's going to be to stop that negative self-talk, right? Because if you're confident in who you are and like, oh, I'm a bad bitch, right? When those little negative thoughts come into play, it's a lot easier to shut them down and be like, no, that's not true. I'm really fucking amazing. And you can, again, flip that script on yourself, because that's a really, really, really important thing here, is changing how you view yourself. All right. Moving on. Oh, well, this is a lot of what I just talked about. How to turn the negative self-talk around, awareness, right? We got to be aware of what made these beliefs true. Using affirmations, okay, reminding yourself every single day that you're a bad bitch, that you are beautiful, that you are amazing, that you are smart, that you are capable, all those things. And using those affirmations to rewire how you talk to yourself and how you view yourself. Okay, number two, we have to stop breaking promises to ourselves. Okay, you gotta stop. Gotta stop it. The quickest way to bring yourself down is by breaking promises to yourself. And the thing is, we do this every single day without even realizing it. And we really don't even realize the repercussions of it. Okay, because every single time that you break a promise to yourself, you're telling yourself you aren't capable. So, how many times have you told yourself, oh, I'm going to go to the gym today, and then you didn't do it? Or, yeah, I'm going to do that laundry today, didn't do it. Yeah, I'm going to make that phone call today, didn't do it. Okay. And you might think, oh, it's not a big deal. I'll just do it tomorrow. But your subconscious is taking note of every single one of those things that you break your promise about to yourself. And it's like, oh, I can't trust myself. I didn't do that. I said I was going to do it and I didn't do it. Right. Like, I want you to think about how you feel if your best friend breaks a promise to you, right? It hurts. It hurts. So think about all of those little small promises that you break on a daily basis and how much it's actually affecting how you view yourself. Okay. And you might not even realize that it's changing the way that you are viewing yourself. So I want you to take an audit of what promises you are typically breaking. Is it the gym? Is it the laundry? Is it those phone calls to the doctors? Because look, I know I hate having to talk on the phone, especially if it's to like doctor or making some kind of appointment or something, right? Like adulting, what? No, I don't like it, but it's got to be done. It's got to be done. So what promises are you typically breaking to yourself? And I want you to make a commitment to stick to your word. So if you tell yourself, I'm going to go to the gym today, go to the damn gym, girl. Okay. Go to the gym today. Make it a point to really keep those promises to yourself. Okay. And really, the underlying thing here is like, if you think about your relationships, right, you have to be able to trust your partner or your friend if you're going to have that love for them, right? If you don't trust them, it's really hard to build that deep connection with them. It's the same thing with yourself. If you don't trust yourself, it's going to be extremely freaking difficult to love yourself and extremely difficult to really build that deeper connection because while you're trying to build that deep connection, your subconscious is like, but you can't be trusted. You said you were going to do that thing and you didn't do it. Like, you know, and you might not, again, even realize that that's what's going on underneath. But I promise if you are breaking promises to yourself on a regular basis, your subconscious remembers that shit. And it's feeding that piece of you that just knows that something's not quite right and that something's a little bit off. All right. Number three, we need to take care of our bodies. Okay. This is the third non negotiable of self love. And I talked about in the beginning how self love is not self care. And it's true, it's not. They're two very different things. But in order to truly love yourself, you have to respect your body and you have to take care of your body, right? Your body is your temple, right? So taking care of your body is the ultimate form of self-love and self-care, right? And doesn't just mean going to the gym every freaking day, right? This is being kind to our bodies, right? Speaking kind words about ourselves, right? Loving ourselves is loving our bodies. Something that I have a lot of clients struggle with, and I actually struggle with as well, is really like, what's your intention behind taking care of your body? So if you're going to the gym simply because you feel like you are fat and that you have to be skinny to get a person or to be likable or whatever it is, it's not gonna stick. Okay. The intention behind what you're doing and exercising, especially, needs to be that you're doing it for yourself, that you are doing it because you want to love yourself more, because you want to take care of yourself, because you love your body and you want to be here for a long time, right? If you are only exercising because you're trying to impress somebody else, it's not going to stick. And it's also not going to fuel the self-love that you need. But when you are doing it from that place of really wanting to take care of your body and you're doing it from a place of love for yourself, it makes such a fucking difference. Let me tell you, it's a lot easier, at least for me, it's so much easier for me to get up and go to the gym when I'm like, yeah, like this makes me feel good about myself. This makes me feel strong, right? It helps me clear my mind. It's a way for me to love myself. And when you're doing it in that way and taking it from that perspective, again, it sticks. It makes it a lot easier to stay motivated and to go to the gym every day. And it makes it a lot more fun too. So what are some ways that you can take care of your body? What does this look like? So first and foremost, you have to pay attention to how you fuel your body, right? So what are you putting in your body? What are you eating every day? Are you eating a lot of processed food that makes you feel sluggish and makes you like feel heavy? Or are you fueling your body with proteins, with fruits, with things that your body needs to give you energy and to make you feel good? Make sure you're moving your body every day. Okay. And this could be like going on a 30-minute walk. This could be going to the gym and lifting weights. This could be doing Pilates or doing yoga or even just stretching your body, right? Like just moving your muscles makes a freaking difference. And that is one way that you can take care of your body. You also need to make sure you're drinking water. Drink your water, drink your water, drink your water. Your water is good for your skin. Okay. Staying hydrated helps you with your energy, helps you with sleep. Like there are so many things that our bodies, what is it, 90% water, 80% water, something like that. Never claimed to be a scientist, but like our bodies are mostly water. We need water. Like we need water in our lives. So girlies, like I'm preaching to the choir, but I definitely struggle with this myself, so I get it. We need to drink water. Okay, it's going to make us. It's going to help so much with your health. I notice so much like when I am on a kick with my drinking of water and keeping up with it on a regular basis, like I feel so much better. I have so much more energy. My skin looks so much better. Like I feel like I just look like like I'm glowing almost, if you will. But again, it comes from drinking water. Okay, it's a great way to take care of yourself. Um, and the last thing I have here for what it looks like to take care of your body is expressing gratitude for your body and telling you how much you love it. Which I know for those of us that struggle with body image, it can be really, really difficult to look at ourselves in the mirror and be like, oh my gosh, I love you. But it will change everything. Okay, this was something that I started practicing a while ago, where I get down in my bra and undies and I stare in the mirror and I'm like, oh my gosh, you are so beautiful. Look at those curves, right? And that love, like expressing that love to myself in that way was really awkward at first and really difficult at first. But it fueled my confidence and my self-love in a way that I wasn't even expecting, right? So like coming from the girl who was like terrified to even take her shirt off with her man, like I'm a completely different person. We're not gonna get into that. That's inappropriate. But I'm much more confident when it comes to like being in my relationships and even like just going to the beach and like being in a bathing suit or whatever. Like it's a lot easier. And you don't care what people think, right? If you love yourself, you're not going to care what other people think about how you look. So yeah, that's the things that we need to be doing. Expressing gratitude for our body. Also, like we need to be grateful that we can move our body the way that we do, right? Because there are a lot of people that are out there that don't have that blessing in their life, right? Like I have somebody that I have been very close with that ended up losing his leg. And that's been really difficult for him because he can't he used to play basketball and like used to be very, very active. And it's more difficult for him to do those things. But it's a whole mindset thing, right? When you are grateful for how much you can do in your daily life and just being able to get up and walk around and go do things freely, again, it's going to shift that mindset and make you appreciate your body, make you love yourself even more. All right. Fourth thing here, fourth non-negotiable of self-love is cutting out the toxicity. All right. Toxicity simply must be removed from your life when you are on a self-love journey. This could be people, this could be habits, this could be jobs. This could be a whole range of things, but you have to eliminate the toxicity from your life. Toxic people, especially, are energy vampires. They are going to suck the life out of you. Okay, so if you are around people that are like that, which I think the next slide is talking about what like a real toxic person is like, you need to remove that. You need to remove that. And you have to set boundaries with these people. And maybe you need to set boundaries with your job. Maybe you need to set boundaries with yourself, right? Like what kind of toxic habits do you personally have, right? That's a whole other layer of self-awareness, and a whole new way to look at all of this. I mean, I could do a whole other presentation, and a whole other class just on our, evaluating our own toxic behaviors. But you have to set boundaries around those things, right? And cut those things out of your life. Even though it's going to be really fucking hard, you got to do that because toxicity is going to hold you back every single time. Every single time. I don't care if it is a person, a relationship, habits, a job. It's going to hold you back because it's going to mess with your mindset and it's going to keep you from really being that full embodied version, that highest version of you that you want to be. All right, so what are traits of like a toxic person in your life? What are some things that you need to be looking out for and people that you need to cut out of your life? They're always negative, right? Always freaking complaining and negative about everything. I can't stand those kinds of people. People that speak badly about other people are always gossiping about other people. People that lie, people that negatively criticize you or don't support you. Cut that shit out. People that lack boundaries and don't respect your boundaries. So maybe you have a boundary around drinking alcohol, right? And you have a friend in your life. So it's like, oh, let's do shots. They're a bad freaking influence. That's toxic to you. Like if you don't want that in your life and being around somebody that's like that, it's very toxic. Somebody that bullies, somebody that's selfish, somebody that's disrespectful, right? These are all things that we do not need in our lives. I promise you, there are people out in this world that will appreciate you for who you are, who will love you for who you are, who will support you 150%, who aren't going to judge you, and who are just going to be there for you all the freaking time. Those are the people that you need in your life. All right. Everything else, you gotta cut that shit. You gotta cut that cord. So how do you set boundaries with these people? First and foremost, you have to have awareness. All right. What boundaries even need to be set? All right. Maybe you need to set a boundary with a specific person. Maybe you need to set boundaries within yourself, around the way that you talk to yourself. If you have a toxic job, maybe you need to set boundaries around like, I'm not going to answer my phone if my boss calls after 7 o'clock or something like that, or I'm not going to check my email after 7 p.m. Setting boundaries is going to look different for everybody, but you need to be aware of what boundaries need to be set, and that are going to actually have the result that you're looking for. The second piece of this is you cannot worry about what they're going to think. You can't. And I know if it's your boss or something that you really care about, it's going to be really difficult, but you have to remember that your own well-being is the most important. Okay. If you are constantly surrounding yourself with negative people, negative or toxic, these energy vampires, putting yourself in these negative situations, it's just going to drain you and you're not going to be able to show up in your best capacity. So you have to look at it that way and be like, I'm putting my well-being first. So I'm sorry that this is hurting you or that this, you view this as something negative, but this is something that I need. And this is just, again, a whole other layer of self-love, because when you have that deep self-love for yourself, it's a lot easier for you to be like, yeah, I'm setting a boundary around that and I don't want you in my life. Or, I'm not going to spend every single weekend with you because when I'm around you, it drains me. So yes, I still care about you as a friend and maybe we can go out to lunch once a month, but I'm not going to be spending as much time with you anymore. The third step in creating boundaries is to communicate the boundary. You have to tell the person of what's going on. And again, with your job, especially, this might be really difficult if you have a boss that's very needy, but you have to tell them, hey, I I value my time. I have other things going on in my life. So after 7 p.m., if you call, it's going to go to, it's going to go to voicemail. And I won't answer. If you want to send me a text or leave me a voicemail, first thing in the morning, that will be the first thing that I address and let them know that. And that's okay. It's okay to do that. I'm giving you the permission slip that you're all waiting for to tell you that it's okay to set those boundaries, and it's okay to tell people in your life what you need from them, and you know what you just need in general to keep yourself at your highest functioning capacity. The fourth thing here is to make sure you stay consistent and stick to the boundary. If you tell somebody, hey, I'm not gonna answer that phone call after 7 p.m., but then they call you at 9 p.m. and you answer anyway, they're not gonna have respect for your boundary. So you have to have your own respect for your boundary, and be willing to really stick with it. That's the only way that these boundaries are gonna work. And I promise the more that you have practice with that, it's gonna get easier. But you have to make sure you are staying consistent and sticking with the boundaries that you set in place. So real quick, let's refresh here. How do you set boundaries? Number one, awareness. What are the boundaries that need to be set? Number two, let go of the worry of what they're going to think. Don't worry if they judge you. Don't worry if they get mad at you. Like, you have to let that go. Number three, you have to communicate the boundary to the person that needs to be communicated to. And number four, you have to stay consistent and you have to stick with it. Okay. So that's how you set boundaries. I'm sorry that I feel like I'm speeding up a little bit here, but I know I've been talking a lot and it's already a little after 12. So we were trying to keep this thing under an hour and a half. So please make sure you are commenting in with any questions that you have, any comments that you have, and I will gladly address all of those at the end. Okay. So number 5, the fifth non-negotiable of self-love is creating a daily ritual. Okay. You have to practice self-love every single day. It's just like any other habit in your life. If you want to get good at something, you have to practice it, right? If you want to build something, you got to practice at it. You got to work on it every single day. The same is true of self-love. So having a daily self-love ritual is the perfect way to make this a reality in your life. So I mentioned this before, it's going to take time. So make sure you're patient with yourself. But just like in romantic relationships, you have to work at this all the time. All right. Some days are going to be easy and some days are going to be hard, but every single day is going to be filled with some kind of lesson that you can use to grow and to really deepen that self-love in your life. So how do you create a daily ritual? This is an exercise that I do with all of my clients and I've done myself, and it is super fun and it really helps you look at a wide range of things. So I call this the 10-10-10 worksheet. And I will put in a plug here that if you are interested in really diving into the self-love ritual a little bit more, this 10-10-10 worksheet is in there. I do have a free resource. It is called The Art of Romanticizing Your Life. If you click the link that's in my bio or you go to my website, heathernicolecoaching.com, there is a tab on there that says free resources, and you can click on The Art of Romanticizing Your Life. It's a workbook that you will get via email, and it has all the things you need to know, some of which we're talking about now, but everything that you need to know when it comes to creating a self-love ritual. But this worksheet is in there. So what is the 10-10-10 worksheet? First, it's 10 things that you desire in your life. Okay, so what are 10 things that you want to have in your life? What are 10 things that you are grateful for? And what are 10 things that you love to do? Now, you have a list of 30 things at this point. Once you complete this, you have a list of 30 things that matter to you, that are important to you. This is where you're going to pull the things that you're going to do in your self-love ritual from. Okay. So here are a couple ideas of some things that you might be doing. Things that might be important to you, things that light you up. Okay. Exercise, meditation, journaling, taking a long bath, drinking with friends, all right, a girl's day, drinks or dinner alone, doing a paint night, a beach day, Binging TV could even be part of your self-love ritual if it's something that lights you up and makes you feel good. Going for a walk, going to a winery, reading, crafts, music, writing, dancing. My favorite thing to do is to dance, let me tell you. Seeing live music, another passion of mine. Shopping for you, not for other people. Okay. Maybe your thing is thrifting, dressing up, doing your hair, your makeup, cleaning up your space, right? Cleaning your room, your home, your car, cleaning up. Maybe taking a class, like learning something new, learning a new language, learning how to do something you've never done before. Go cook, go swimming, go take a nap, go to the spa, go on vacation, right? There are the possibilities are endless here. But by using this 10-10-10 worksheet, where you are diving into the things that you desire in your life. So maybe it is to travel more. Maybe it is to start a business. Maybe it is to have more love in your life, to build a healthier relationship. What are the things that you're grateful for? I'm grateful for my dog. Maybe you spend more time with your dog. Maybe you're grateful for your girlfriends, right? That's where the girls' day comes into play. What are the things you love to do? I love to go hiking. I love to meditate. I love to journal. I love to go to the beach, right? Include these things in your self-love ritual. All right. So again, if you want to a little bit more on that and dive into that more, make sure you download my free resource, The Art of Romanticizing Your Life. It goes into that whole process deeply. All right. And the sixth non-negotiable of self-love, guys, you have to tell yourself you love yourself. You have to. And I get it. It's going to be awkward. It's going to be weird, especially if you're coming from a place where you are really, really struggling with self-love. Maybe you have, again, this deep self-hate. Maybe you have a lot of doubts in your life. Maybe you have a lot of judgments around yourself. It's going to be really, really difficult at first. I know, because it was super fucking hard for me in the beginning. But you have to remind yourself daily how incredible you are. You have to remember that you are something worth loving. You're somebody worthy of everything that you desire in your life. So you have to remember here, like, we're rewiring our brains, okay? Which means that you have to change the way that you talk to yourself. And more than likely, because most people that I talk to about this don't do this, most likely you're not already telling yourself every day that I love you, at least intentionally. So what we tell ourselves is what we believe. So if we start telling ourselves every single day, I love you, then it is going to, oh my gosh, it's trying to kick me off of live, guys. Okay, there we go. When we tell ourselves every single day that we love ourselves, it starts to become a reality, right? So I want you guys to look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, like, I'm looking at myself in this camera right now and I love you. All right. And I'm looking at you too. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Right. You have to say it to yourself, guys. Maybe you need to set a reminder on your phone to do it every single day. Maybe you do it when you're waking up in the morning and getting ready, right? And you're looking in the mirror already and you just tell yourself, man, I love myself. I'm amazing, right? Whatever affirmations you want to use them here, but you have to tell yourself that you love yourself every single day. It is a non-negotiable. I don't want you arguing with me about it. I want you to just do it. Okay. I promise that it's going to work. It's going to help. Okay. So before we wrap it up, let's talk about one more super important thing here. And this is really deepening this connection with yourself, right? So one of the side effects of practicing daily self-love and having the self-love ritual is that you're going to deepen the relationship that you have with yourself. It's inevitable, okay? So through that, you will instinctually begin to hear your intuition more clearly. By loving yourself, you're going to be able to trust this voice. Now, if you remember, a little while ago, I was talking about how on Monday, somebody told me I wasn't physically fit enough. Well, the funny thing about this is literally the night before in my journal, I was journaling about this situation. And I was like, is this even worth it? Right? Because he had been like doing little things here and there that I was just like unsure of. So I started asking myself all these questions. Like, is it worth it? Does he even want to be with me? Like, am I sacrificing my own self-worth for this man. Like, and I wrote a whole freaking page of questions. And the next day he did that. And my intuition was like, this is what you needed to know, and you need to move the fuck on. And for one of the first times in my life, it was so incredibly clear that I need to let this man go. And I'm not going to get into the details of this relationship, but all you need to know, this has been a 20-year ordeal of ups and downs with this person. So this was the clarity that I needed, and my gut, my heart, everything was telling me, fucking run. This is not the relationship for you. And I never would have had that clarity in my life if I had not done this internal work and been able to listen to my intuition, because I wouldn't have trusted it. Right? From being in that abusive relationship, I didn't trust myself, right? He made me doubt myself at every possible turn. So whenever I had those intuitive hits, if you will, where my intuition was trying to tell me something, I would ignore them because I didn't trust myself. But now this version of me, I trust myself completely. I know that I know what's best for me. I love the person that I fucking am. So that channel has just been opened up, and it's given me, again, just more clarity than I could ever possibly imagine in my life. So if you start to notice that stuff going on with you, if you start to notice you getting more intuitive hits, and you are really ready to take this a step further with intention, and really tapping into your intuition and tapping into your feminine energy and your higher self, then I want you to try some intentional journaling. I want you to meditate. I want you to practice just sitting with your emotions, which is really difficult for me. But I've been doing it for years now, where like if I start feeling really intense emotions, I just kind of go find somewhere quiet to sit, and I just sit with it. And I allow myself to feel. I notice where I'm feeling it in my body. Sometimes it's in my stomach, like in my gut, I just feel sick. Sometimes it's in my heart, right? I feel just achy. Sometimes, it's like up here in my neck and my shoulders, and like that's telling me that like I just feel too much pressure and I'm overwhelmed. So you can learn so much about your emotions, and really by tuning in and really embodying that. So just sit with your emotions, and also having a daily mindfulness practice where you just kind of sit. Be very mindful of what's going on around you. Be mindful of what you're feeling, again, where you're feeling it, and really getting into that space. So those are just a few tips of mine to really deepen that connection. And again, through this work, it's all just going to start happening more for you. And if you want support around that, I would love to be that person for you. So please make sure that you reach out. And I'm always open. My DMs are always open for questions, concerns. If you want to tell me a story, whatever, like I want to be there for you. So make sure you guys are reaching out. I love that. All right, so that brings us to the end of the presentation, but I just want to refresh on a couple things here. First and foremost, patience, patience, patience. Okay, this is a journey, again, not a destination. It's something that's going to take time. It's something that you're going to need to practice daily, and it's going to be worth it, but it's going to be hard and it's going to take time, and that's okay. So make sure you have patience. Second thing here, make sure that you are really taking the time to understand who you are. Don't forget about that exercise I told you guys about in the beginning, where you list everything that's true for you. Bring that awareness, bring that understanding to who you are. You have to stop with the negative self-talk, hon. You got to stop. Stop telling yourself you suck. Stop telling yourself you're not good enough. Stop telling yourself that you're not beautiful. You got to stop with that. You have to quit breaking promises to yourself. If you say you're going to go to the gym, go to the damn gym. If you say you're going to do the laundry, do the damn laundry. If you say you're going to make that phone call, make the freaking phone call. Stop breaking promises to yourself. Take care of your body. Fuel your body with things that it needs. Drink your water. Move your muscles. Let go of all the toxicity in your life. Oh my gosh, that toxicity is holding you back. It's keeping you stuck. You got to let that go. Okay, relationships, jobs, friendships, whatever it is, let go of the toxic shit. Create this daily routine. Art of romanticizing your life. go download it. It'll walk you through so much and much deeper details than what I was able to go through today. But just create a routine that lights you the fuck up and makes you feel good inside. And just watch the magic happen. And last but not least, say I love you every damn day. Every single day. I want you guys to say that I love you to yourself. So if you enjoyed today's class and you are interested in working with me one-on-one, I am taking one-on-one clients right now. I'm enrolling. I have a 12-week fierce and free coaching program where every single week we meet and we do either a video chat, or if you're local, we'll meet in person. And we go through a lot of the stuff that we talked about today, our past, how it's affected us. We do inner child work. I'm an inner child specialist. We also do a lot of EFT tapping. I'm an EFT practitioner. And, you know, we use that to really move our emotions and grow in our life. And we talk about embodiment. We talk about self-love. Like we do all the things, but 12 weeks to create a total transformation in your life that's going to help you become this higher version of you, this version of you that you desire to be. So it's 12 weeks. There is tech support through text message, DM, email. You get weekly personalized emails from me with journal prompts, motivations, and affirmations that really are specifically for you and what we're going over with your particular situation. And you have constant support and accountability and me to guide you on your journey. So if you're interested in that, reach out, tell me you were on this masterclass, and I will give you $250 off the price of the coaching program. And that is it. Thank you guys so freaking much for joining in today. I had so much fun. And don't forget that these webinars hosted by the House of Peach. So thank you again, House of Peach, for this opportunity. We're going to be doing the second Saturday of every month at 11 a.m. On Zoom and on TikTok. And yeah, that's all. So thank you guys for listening. If anybody has any questions, concerns, thoughts, please drop it down in the comments. I will be happy to chat with you guys. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in and for listening. And I love all of you so, so much. Remember that February isn't just about love and relationships.